Hi, I'm Lofi Mage, and I am a harlot of many hats. One of those being software developer, and soon, hopefully, game developer. We are basically going through the Unity Essentials learning track or learning pathway. I think it's called a pathway technically. So yeah, we're just kind of going to go through it. We're going to follow the like the quote unquote course material, and we're going to try to develop a game at some point. I have many ideas. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. However, I have some pretty good ideas, and we need the knowledge in order to get there. So for anybody who is watching this in the future, just like, oh, why would I want to watch you? I don't know. To be honest, you probably don't. So there's that. But in case anyone is interested, I have been a soft developer since I was a teenager. It's going on literally about 15 years now. And then I work professionally in the industry. I've worked for a number of years as the solo developer of a mobile app project for a company that I work for, where I am the literally the only developer working on it for the whole app for iOS and Android, and then that gets deployed and it's used by thousands of users. And then I have a decent amount of experience in other various things like web development or back-end game development for things like MMO private servers and stuff. So I'm not starting from nothing, but I'm going to try to treat this as if I have a lot that I need to break down and relearn from the beginning. Because this is going to be different from anything I've ever done. So I want to go into this with the idea that, I know nothing, essentially. So I may end up doing things that look confusing. If they do and you're curious about why I'm doing them, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, hopefully, we'll be going in this at a decent pace together. Yeah. Harlot of many hats is my new favorite phrase. I'm glad that you like that. I came up with that one day, and I really like that too. She's crazy smart and talented, and these streams are chill and fun to watch. I don't know about all that jazz, but thanks. Okay, so let's learn the essentials. So basically, we're using the learn.unity.com. It's just like their kind of like educational content. It looks like there is quite a bit of stuff to learn on here, which is neat. For example, we've got all these different pathways, Unity Essentials, which we're going to be doing first and foremost. They have Junior Programmer, which is probably going to be on the code side of things. Creative Core is probably going to be the other side of things. Where it's like animation, that kind of jazz. And this is me guessing. We can honestly just take a look at some point. And then they have VR development and mobile AR development pathways for people who are interested in doing that. And honestly, maybe we will end up doing VR development at some point. I don't know where this is going to take us. But the first things first, and the first lesson that I think most people should understand, is you take one step at a time, because that's all that you can do. You have no control over, your ability to do VR development at the moment. The only thing you have control over is what you decide to choose to learn and the effort that you put into that. So let's start at the beginning. But just because I'm curious, we're going to take a look at some of these other things. Like if we go to the Unity Essentials pathway, it looks like we're going to do a number of tutorials. Like we're going to basically learn how to get around in the editor. Like this is, literally just navigational type stuff. This is 3D Essentials, design a kid's bedroom with a bouncing ball and a tower of collapsing blocks. That's kind of cool. So it's going to teach us kind of how to place things, I'm guessing, how lights work, camera angles. After that, it's going to teach us how audio works. It's going to teach us the, kind of the basics of how scripting works so that we can make things do things. And then it's going to teach us how 2D works, I guess, which is cool. And then last but not least, it'll teach us how to publish. It'll teach us how to make a publishable version of this that we can upload into places and stuff like that. So that is really, really neat. Later on, at some point, we will be doing the junior programmer stuff. And it looks like, yeah, it's really just gonna teach us how to make things do things, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, and then the creative core looks like, yeah, it's gonna teach us everything that's non-programming related, such as like, you know, how shaders work, lighting works, animation works, and stuff like that, so. No, what do you mean, bro? Okay. So it says this is gonna, it says that it should take us, 2 weeks to learn. It's not gonna take that long. I don't know what they're using for like a time estimate. Let me just go ahead and like Google a little bit. Unity Essentials Pathway time estimation. 12 weeks is an estimate. Probably 1 or 2 hour a day estimate. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna be completing this at a much faster pace. This was the name of the thread. This is the thread. This is, I was asked 4 years ago, so it may change. This person says they did it in about 6 weeks. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start chipping. Sorry, I heard a whistling in my like tinnitus type shit, I guess. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's start chipping into that week. So, we are going to start the pathway, and I am signed in here. Let's go ahead and install, version 6. So basically what this is Unity Hub. You can download it from unity.com. It's how you can manage your projects, your installs, various learning things, resources, settings, and what have you. So honestly, we're gonna try to just get away with this. 6.1 is close enough. It should be fine. 6.1 is the latest editor. So let's see. The first thing is Editor Essentials. Explore a playground scene and design a mural to get comfortable with the Unity interface. What you will learn, this tutorial series introduces you to the essential skills of navigating the Unity editor. You'll learn to navigate 3D space in a playground scene using fly-through mode and tools like Move and Rotate to design a mural. Once you master these skills, you'll have the foundation required for confidently creating in Unity. And the skills that we are going to learn, chat, creating and managing Unity products, will install the Unity editor for the first time, will work with projects in the Unity Hub, navigate in 3D space in the scene view, employ essential features of the Unity editor, then we'll do scene building essentials like transforming game objects. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm curious if this is going to be like videos and stuff like that. Okay, so tutorial. In this tutorial, you'll select the appropriate Unity plan, get a Unity ID, launch a Unity editor from the Unity Hub. Okay. Skills, yeah, just using the editor for the first time, so. It does look like there is video content. Let's go ahead and put kibosh on the music for a moment. And let us begin. I like that. I like that music. Ooh, and that bass is good too.
Welcome to Unity Essentials, your first step in learning to create interactive experiences within Unity. My name is James, and I'll be your guide throughout this pathway.
Is the audio okay?
If you've never used Unity before, or if you know a little bit about Unity but want more of a comprehensive introduction, you're in the right place. Learning Unity unlocks new creative possibilities and career opportunities. With Unity, you have the power to create amazing interactive games, worlds, and simulations across industries and styles, and then publish those experiences on different platforms.
Good.
In this pathway, you'll gain a foundation in key areas of Unity development. First up is the Editor Essentials. You'll get comfortable moving around the Unity interface and learning how to navigate 3D space with ease. Next is 3D Essentials. You'll dive into 3D creation, designing a room environment with a bouncing ball physics simulation.
Ooh, that looks kind of fun.
In Audio Essentials, you'll bring a kitchen scene to life with a variety of immersive sounds. To learn the Programming Essentials, you'll code basic interactivity for a character who can collect objects in a living room.
One thing that's kind of interesting is the programming, like the software they were actually writing the code in looked like Visual Studio Code, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure that they've stopped using that. They don't recommend it anymore. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I read that because I was doing a lot of research into whether I should use JetBrains or Visual Studio, which is different than Visual Studio Code. And I read like multiple times, don't use Visual Studio Code for this. Like you can, it's just not how they recommend. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, sorry about that.
After that, there's 2D essentials. You'll discover the unique aspects of 2D game development by creating a top-down version of a familiar scene.
Ooh.
Finally, in the essentials of publishing, you'll learn to package your work as a shareable portfolio project, building it for different platforms. By the end of this pathway, you'll have a strong understanding of Unity's core features, preparing you to develop more advanced and specialized skills.
I'm gonna lurk for a while. I'll be back if I'm feeling better later. If not, have a great stream. Okie dokie, artichoke. I really do hope that you feel better later, even if you don't come back. But thank you so much for dropping on in and saying hi. Hope you have a good time.
You'll also have a collection of fun, engaging environments customized with your own personal touch. So, if you're ready, let's get started on your creative journey by learning the Unity essentials.
That's cool as hell. What the hell? What the helly? Yeah, that's awesome. What are yeah, that actually gets me excited as hell. That's so neat that it, that's what it says we're gonna learn like right off the bat. What are the Unity Hub and Unity Editor? To work with Unity, you'll start with the Unity Hub. The Unity Hub is a standalone application that streamlines the way you navigate, download, and manage your Unity projects and installations. From the Hub, you'll download and manage various versions of the Unity Editor. Unity Editor is the application where you'll build 3D or 2D worlds and create your interactive applications. Cool. There's Q&A. What is this? Other people? Oh, that's interesting. You can just yeah. Okay. Huh. Unity plan, so we can just kind of talk about it. So cool. System requirements. We basically, it's just going over kind of what you got. Yeah, we meet the system requirements. We don't have to look at that. Unity plan. We are actually doing the personal plan. We've already enrolled into it. This should be fine for what we're doing. This is purely educational and not from a hobbyist perspective. There may come a time when we need to do something different, but for now, this is fine. Your Unity account and organization. We're just doing a individual account. We have already installed it, but this would tell you how to install it. It already sounds kind of cool. I'm glad you think so. Yeah, I agree. I've worked with Unity a little bit before and making the the other VTuber model I have, the one with the twin braids. Yeah, I use Unity to kind of set some of that stuff up. So basically, this is telling you how to download Unity Hub. If y'all are following along and have not downloaded Unity Hub, please pause it on this screen, or just, if you're in the pathway Unity Essential stuff, then I guess follow along. I don't know why I'm yapping at you. We already have it though. We've already installed it. Yep, we already have the hub. However, hold on a minute. Add modules. We have not done that. Get Unity Hub. Exactly. We already have, Visual Studio. We should already have. Yeah. Well, let's do this. I do want to get Android build support. We can let it install in the background. Yeah, iOS build at some point. I do want to get Linux build support and Mac build support because we do have a Mac, which is what I'm streaming from. And Universal Windows Platform. We'll do Windows build support because why not? Why not? Fuck it. You never know when we'll need it, so that's going to do its thing in the background. Hey, please don't hijack my screen. Thanks. Okay, so that is now downloading. To get started, please proceed to the next tutorial, the essentials. All right, that's it. That's the first tutorial. Very cool. Yeah, I'd rate that 5-star. That was pretty easy to follow along. Their instructions. Next up, open the Unity Essentials project. Ready to get started. In this tutorial, you'll open the Unity Pathways project or Essentials Pathway project from the Unity Hub. Then you'll decide whether you'd like to complete the pathway on Unity Learn or directly in the editor. So let's go ahead and that lightning out, thunder outside, or am I hearing people take out their trash? I wonder. Let's try to find it on here, I guess. What are we doing? Foundational. Nothing more to load here. We'll just do it on Unity Learn. It's fine. But it says we can get the Unity Essentials project somewhere. So maybe we can find that. Projects? New projects? Yeah. What do we want? Do we want to get started with Unity or Essentials Pathway? Essentials, probably. I guess. Yes, it's getting ready to storm theoretically. Gotcha. Okay, well, let's go ahead and download the Essentials Pathway, I guess. Yep, we are Lofi Gato. For the project name, we'll just say Essentials Pathway. Fucking microphone. Sorry for all that noise. Unity version control. I don't think we need that. The location. I'm just gonna mute the, or not mute it, but I'm gonna blur the screen just in case. Ah, I heard it that time. Like, there shouldn't be anything shiesty going on, but like, come on, bro. There we go. Okay, create the project. Yep, did all that. We'll go ahead and just play some music until we're there. Also, somehow Bela and Loki are both napping on me, and it's both cute and weird. Will they also be hella warm? Yeah, I bet. That's cute that you got them to cuddle together, though. Can't even mark this until we, Yeah, I will say that it isn't very clear on what to download in the hub. Maybe I shouldn't have checked the install all of that. It should be fine. We'll be all right. Oh, I saw the lightning that time. with any luck, we won't rudely get, you know, insta-zapped offline tonight. So while we wait for this, I guess let's hang out, right? So like I changed my profile picture in various places to Clippy as part of this like kind of like middle finger to corporation type movement. I can't remember who the hell I got it from, but some tech influencer was like, let's all change our profile pictures to Clippy. Basically what it represents is like a middle finger to, you know, the concept of all these crazy subscriptions and all this data collection and stuff. Because even though we all remember Clippy as somewhat annoying, you know, always, you know, like, oh, hey, like, you know, it looks like you're trying to goon. How can I help? And it's like, you know, but he was there to help. You didn't have to pay any extra. He didn't want your damn data. He just wanted to vibe, you know? So the concept is change your profile picture to Clippy, and then it's kind of like, you know, you don't have to say anything, but everybody will know. You know, the people who need to know will know. So I was like, fuck it, why not? So I changed my profile picture to Clippy, and I was just kind of curious, so I was like looking up. I was like, I wonder if anybody has released any like free Clippy VTuber models. And they have. Yeah, I thought about it very briefly. There's downloading a Clippy model and being Clippy for some time, but I was like, I'd miss Pocky too much. It's more like Bela was here, and then Loki self-inserted himself like he do, and it's now like a pile of floof. Very nice, very nice. I saw that. I wonder what that was about. I always like to have him turn into things. Clippy, 100%. Landon, hi. Thank you so much for dropping by. How you doing? Love the Clippy backstory. I'm glad so. I'm glad. Yeah, how you doing, and what have you been up to today? All right, so it looks like we got it open, and it looks like there's gonna be a video. Maybe. Doing good. Haha, another late night. No, doing good. Doing good. Or like Wiz Khalifa, like doing good. Sorry. Another late night inventory shift, just counting foodstuffs at my restaurant. Haha, oh, the glamour. For real though. That's all. Like, I snorted at the fuckboy. I'm glad. But no, I'm sorry that you're stuck doing late night inventory stuff. Do you find that is it something that you particularly can't stand, or is it something where it's like, I'm left alone in my devices, so like I'll just kind of zone out, and this is just kind of like is it at all meditative for you? I know for some people that those kind of tasks can be. It looks like we might be done. So for now, I don't think we need to. Hold on. Sorry, I heard something in the background. I was like, I don't remember this in my lo-fi. I kind of love it. Just get to chill by myself. Less responsibility than when we're open. You know what? Honestly, that really is a big vibe. Yeah. There definitely was something about like, you know, the after activities that was kind of like, okay, well now it's like peacetime kind of. The fuckboy brain rot is real. It is. Sorry. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so welcome to the Unity Essentials in Editor Pathway. Designed for anyone new to Unity, this guided learning journey is your first step toward creating confidently in the Unity editor and bringing your visions to life. In this learning pathway, you'll design different rooms of a house, learning the essentials of one key skill set as you complete each room. You'll go through these skills in the following order. 1. Editor Essentials. Explore a playground scene and design a mural to get comfortable with the Unity interface. 2. 3D Essentials. Design a kid's bedroom with a bouncing ball and a tower of collapsing building blocks. 3. Audio Essentials. Add immersive sound to a kitchen scene with a variety of different types of audio. 4. Programming essentials. Add code so that a player character can explore a living room and gather collectibles. 5. 2D essentials. Create a top-down minigame similar to the 3D living room experience, but in 2D. 6. Publishing essentials. Combine all of your scenes together in one cohesive portfolio project that you can share with others. Hold on just a second. Sorry. Something was distracting me with this song. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to ruin the song, but I think I actually think that I have to replace the version of... What is this? I think I actually have to replace this on all the streaming services. Kind of a bummer. But anyway, my bad. So yeah, it does absolutely sound like where we are getting into making things. Let's go ahead and start mission 1. Oh, that's kind of cool. Unity Essentials, master the basics of creating with you. What does it want us to do though? It wants us to like click or... Yeah, okay. So number 1 is explore the editor interface. Jump into your first Unity scene and familiarize yourself with the main editor windows. And there is a video. So also it's raining here, so if things get semi-borked, that's why. Very true. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Yeah, let's go ahead and just give it a listen. Hopefully everybody can see this okay.
Series of tutorials, you'll master the essentials of navigating in the Unity editor. Because Unity is such a powerful program that can do so many things, the interface can be overwhelming at first. So we'll start from the very beginning, making sure that you're comfortable moving around the interface. In an outdoor playground scene, you'll learn how to confidently navigate 3D space. You'll use fly-through mode to soar through a scene view, then frame and orbit around key objects in the environment. You'll also master the move and rotate tools, allowing you to precisely position and orient objects to design your own unique creations. You'll even learn some pro tips for working effectively in Unity, like using keyboard shortcuts to switch between tools, toggling between coordinate systems, and using isometric view for more efficient workflows.
Bless you, Neko.
Learning to navigate 3D space confidently in Unity is like learning to swim before diving into the deep end. It's critical. It equips you with the skills you need to stay afloat and have fun once you jump in and start creating.
So sorry that there were no...
Essential skills that will empower you.
That there are no captions. Hold on. Hold on, bro. You just skipped a whole bunch.
Because Unity is such a powerful program before diving into the deep end. It's critical. It equips you with the skills you need to stay afloat and have fun once you jump in and start creating. So, let's get started by building the essential skills that will empower you to create with Unity.
Sure, sounds good to me. Oh, okay, so that's literally the transcript. Okay. Actually, we can mark these as complete because we have done all of these. Oh, it did have the essentials pathway right here. That makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I guess actually it was pretty clear. We did the essentials pathway. You have 2 options for completing the essentials pathway. Below are descriptions of these. You're currently following instructions on the Unity Learn. If you continue on Unity Learn, blah, blah, blah. You have multiple monitors or prefer to have your learning materials in a full window, this could be an ideal learning for you, which we'll probably do because of captions. You have 1 monitor, you can use browser extensions to set up this Unity Learn and the editor side by side. So it's like it's almost like your Unity Learn tutorials are in a window in the editor. I think we could just Alt-Tab. I think it's fine. What I will say, instructions, I will say that the instruction for downloading the correct Unity Hub project could be presented a little early. I think that's good feedback. That's my feedback anyway. So explore the editor interface. Is that what's, yep, that is the current thing that we're on. Okay, so.
Tutorials, you'll master the creations.
Yeah, this is the same thing we just watched. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll do it in the website. That way, we can get captions and stuff with it. How about that? So in this first exercise, you'll explore most commonly used windows, the Unity editor one by one. Although you can rearrange the windows, you'll use Unity's default layout so that your screen matches screenshots in the tutorial. Okay, so that is what that says. Let's go ahead and actually close. Default. Captions, yes. Open a scene from the project window. The project window is where you can find all the assets, the files, parentheses, assets, available for use in your project, whether you use them or not. The project window works like a file explorer organized in folders. You can view the project window's assets as large icons or in a more compact list. Locate the slider at the bottom right of the project window. If you don't see the slider, select the project window's More menu, bless you, Neko, and select two-column layout. Drag the slider all the way to the left to see the assets in a list. This way, none of the assets' names get cut off. This will be easier for now. In the Assets folder, open Unity Essentials, Scenes, then double-click the one starter scene to open it. Above the project window in the center of the editor, you'll see a robot standing on the left side of a big white platform in front of a beautiful blue sky, along with a collection of other objects. Cool. I probably won't be awake for very long. I've been offered some breakfast, but gotta wake up really early. Oof, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I'm happy for you that you get breakfast, though. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Okay, so this here is the project window that it's talking about. We can use this down here to, you know, scale the size of how we want it to look. Just to do it all the way to the left, let's go ahead and do that. And it says to open up the Unity Essential. Then I think it said scenes. Double click the starter scene, number 1. Yeah, and there's our little robot dude right there. Yeah, we're going to a cool diner that does really big servings. Ooh, take me with you. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Number 4, explore the scene contents with the hierarchy window. So that's going to be this window. This says hierarchy, so it's going to be right here. Did you notice that the hierarchy window, which is on the left in Unity's default layout, was automatically populated with a list when you open the scene? The hierarchy window is where you organize all the things in your game world. These things are called game objects. There's an important difference between the project window and the hierarchy window. The hierarchy window displays all the game objects in the current scene. The project windows displays all the assets available to your entire project, whether or not they are in the current scene. Nice. Kidding, kitty, we're getting food. Let's go! Yeah, I love that. Let's go. Instructions. In the hierarchy window, double-click some of the game objects and notice what happens. The selected game object is framed in the scene view at the center of the Unity interface. Well, let's see what that looks like. So it says to double-click on these. Ah, yes, that is ground. Directional light. It basically kind of locks us to how we move. Kind of locks us to that or whatever. At the view, mostly. So that gets us to the tunnel. This is a star. Landing. Round. Cool. Interesting. Okay. In the hierarchy window, locate the box's game object, then use the fold-out triangle to expand it and explore the game objects within. Game objects are typically organized in a hierarchical tree-like structure. In the hierarchy window, a game object can have parent game objects and child game objects. Parent game objects contain other game objects, which are referred to as child game objects. So basically what they're talking about, so you see here how for whatever we did in the top left over here within this hierarchy window, we had clicked on player and then we had clicked on this on the screen, and then this happened to be this player follow camera game object. Well, this is a child of the player object. Okay, so that's kind of what it means. And then if we click this triangle next to it, it minimizes its children. And then robot also has its own children of game objects. So to return to a view that allows you to see the entire environment, double click the ground game object, which will frame the entire ground in view. Okay, very good. So 5, move around 3D space in the game scene view. Let's go ahead and, yeah. In the center of the default Unity editor is the scene view. That is the one we are currently on right here. It's zooming in and out. This is the scene view. This is your interactive window into the world you are creating. You'll use the scene view to manipulate objects and view them from various angles. Instructions. With your cursor over the scene view, right-click and drag. Sorry, I didn't know it was waiting on me. So yeah, so this is the scene view. Oops. We're right-clicking and we're dragging. So this controls the direction that we're actually pointing in with our camera, or from our perspective. You'll notice the cursor turns into an eyeball icon when you do this. This is the view tool. It's like turning your head to look around in the real world. 2, release the right mouse button, the right mouse button, then use the arrow keys to freely move around in the scene view. The up and down arrow keys move you forward and backward. The left and right arrow keys pan the view sideways. Yep, that do be true. We're zooming in, out, left, or right and left. Cool. As a challenge, use these navigation techniques to get a good close-up view of the robot character. Yeah, sure, let's do it. And we'll kind of look at him. Oh, what a cool little dude. Guess we can bring the music back, my bad. If you ever get lost in the scene view, simply go back to the hierarchy window and double click on one of the game objects to frame it, center it in the scene view. Cool. We are not lost at the moment. Number 6 is use the pan tool. By default, there is a floating toolbar in the upper left corner of the scene view. These are the main scene view tools. So what it means is this right here that I'm clicking and I'm dragging around. This is, what did it call it? The toolbar, the scene view tools. There are also a number of toolbars above the scene view. These toolbars include buttons and settings that allow you to change the way your scene is displayed. For now, avoid clicking on those tools. These selections can't be undone, and it can be hard to know how to reset your settings. Don't worry, you'll get to those options later. Okay. In the hierarchy window, double-click the stairs game object to frame it in the scene view. Okay. Here it is, the stairs. All right. Select the top tool from the toolbar that looks like a hand. This is the pan tool. Pan tool is the same as the view tool. With the pan tool selected, left click and drag in the scene view to pan side to side. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Quite nice. My autism is like, I kind of want to give him a name, lol, and wish I understood why I constantly want to anthropomorphize everything. Lol. What would you name him? We can give him a name. So we already did the side-to-side thing. Notice you can see the changing reflection of the sky and the shining material on the stairs as you pan side to side. You'll learn how to make your own materials later. Hold on a moment. So, yeah, I'll be damned. That is so cool, actually. What the fuck? Because you can see the sky, the clouds and stuff in the reflection. Very cool. Enter play mode in game view. If the scene view is like a movie set, then the game view is what you see through the camera. It's what the end user of your experience will see. When you enter play mode to test your application, you will automatically be taken into the game view. By default, the game view will appear in the same area of the editor as the scene view. When you exit play mode, you'll automatically be taken back to the scene view. And then the instructions. Ray tracing, that's neat. I don't know if it's ray traced. It's just reflections. Ray tracing is a little bit different than that. At least as far as I'm aware. So select the play button at the top center of the editor and see what happens. You can move the robot character around with the following controls. Press the arrow keys to walk around, spacebar to jump, move the mouse to rotate your view, hold the shift key to run. Cursor disappears, press escape to see it again. Okay, yeah, we can do that. So we'll go to game. Or what? No, what did it say? It just says to select play. Okay. Oh, very cool. We can run. We can yump. Try to jump to collect the star from the platform at the top of the stairs. It'll be just out of reach, but you'll try to fix that in the next step. Okay, that's cool as hell. Yeah, very neat, very neat. Did it say we could run? Yeah, I did say we could run. Cool. When you're finished with play mode, press the stop button to exit play mode and return to the scene view. It's important. It's crucial to exit play mode when you're done testing. If you remain in play mode, none of the changes you make will be saved. That is very important to know. Also, what did you wanna name him? I told you we could come up with a name if you have one. 8. Edit the game object's properties in the inspector. The inspector window is where you'll find and configure detailed information about game objects. When you select game object in the scene view or in the hierarchy window, its components are listed in the inspector window. Okay, hold on. The inspector window, what the fuck is that? Oh, okay, so the inspector window is right here on the right. When you select a game object, let's just do the ground, and then everything pops up over here, all of its properties and stuff. So properties is just means information about the object. What is this? We already have some things installed. Are we doing another one? We're just gonna install that as well. Wait, hold on a minute now. Huh, I'll be damned. Sorry, this is a small break. I'm just setting up Visual Studio. I do other things other than video games, so let me just kind of go and try to, you know. We can install it in the background. It's doing its thing. Y'all will not want to do this if y'all are following along later in the future or something. You won't need to do anything that I do. Mine is a very specific use case. You can just follow the tutorial along with whatever it shows you to select. Whatever it does, it tries to install by default. That's probably all you'll need. You could click the Unity workload. That might be good as well, but yeah, you won't need as much stuff as I checkmarked. Something easy since it's really basic, maybe like Bud or Larry or something. What do you think? I like Bud. We can call him Bud. I've got earbuds on and your voice is like massaging my brain wrinkles. I'm glad. Thank you. Sorry. So yeah, you'll use the inspector window to position the star a bit closer to the platform so the player can reach it. So instructions, step 1. Select one of the game objects in the hierarchy window, then browse its components in the inspector window. Okay, we've actually already did that. You probably won't understand what many of the components do yet, but that's okay. You'll get very familiar with these components as you go through this pathway. Double-click the star object to frame it in view, then locate its position, rotation, and scale values at the very top of the inspector window. Let's go ahead and do that. So we frame the star. I don't want to get a better look at it here like that. And then here's the position, rotation, and scale on the right, top right over here. Hockey ASMR, God no. Y'all don't want that, I promise. Double click this, oh, we already did that. Okay, reduce the X position value by 1 or 2 units to move the star closer to the platform, and reduce the Y position by 1 or 2 units to lower the star closer to the ground. Remember, you can always undo any unwanted changes with Control-Z or Command-Z if you're on Mac OS. Okay, so position, let's do 5.5, 6.5, yeah, and we'll do 5.5, yeah, and then it wants us to enter the play mode again to give it a test. Hockey ASMR would just be a bunch of unhinged echolalia for real though. Let's go! Star friggin' unlocked. Now I want to see, can we jump to like other things? Can we jump like over here? Almost. Go through the tunnel. Let's jump on the box. Jump on this box, and then on this box. Yeah, look at us go. Okay. Well, we did that. Let's go. Yay, Stargate. Absolutely. Save your scene. Unity doesn't automatically save your scene. Make a habit of saving often so that you don't lose any progress. If you have any unsaved changes in your scene, there will be an asterisk next to the name of the scene at the top of the hierarchy window. In this case, -1, starter scene. Okay, so this is, yeah, right over here. I know it's probably incredibly hard to see. Is there a way for me to increase the scale of this at all? Maybe? Preferences? UI scaling, yeah. Fuck. It requires a restart. there a save hotkey? Yeah, it's Control S, or up here at File, Save is Control S, Save As if you want to save it in a different file. But we're just gonna do Save, aka Control S. We do need to restart this really quick because I want to change the scale value. I want to change the UI scaling so it's a little bit easier to read. And I am so sorry because I did not even think about how that would be difficult. Looks like it is. It is bigger now, so. What is this? This is Revenant, I think. Yeah, it's Revenant. That's a new song that'll be coming out eventually. Yeah, there we go. That should be a lot easier to see. Cool. Oh yeah, it says to save your scene, press Control S, or Mac OS is Command S. If there was an asterisk next to the scene name in the hierarchy window, the asterisk would disappear, which ours did. You can also, well, we reloaded it, of course it would, but whatever. You can also select File, Save from the main menu to save your scene. 10. Review and proceed to the next tutorial. Congratulations on completing this first guided tutorial in the Unity pathway, in the Unity Essentials pathway. And I do want to say, like, for anyone in the future who may be following along with this, like, I'm so sorry, excuse me. I know that, like, you know, it's little congratulations seems silly, but from me personally, I also want to tell you congratulations, because the hardest part of getting something done, of learning learning new skills, is literally starting and trying to keep, you know, like sticking along with it. So if this is also a journey that you're on and you're following along with this or whatever, congratulations from me as well. Like, seriously. Hopefully you enjoy what you're doing so far, and we're gonna keep it going. So here are some of the things that we have learned how to do along the way. We have learned how to open a scene from the project window, frame a game object in the scene view by double-clicking it in the hierarchy window, explain the differences between the project and hierarchy windows, explain the relationship between the scene view and the inspector window, look around the scene with the view tool and look around the scene with the pan tool, identify the windows that appear in the Unity editor's default view, start and stop play mode, game view, and save the scene. We have actually learned how to manipulate some things and stuff like that, and like, this is awesome. We can actually do some things with this. Instructions. Proceed to the next tutorial where you'll explore a playground scene to master 3D navigation in the scene view. Tutorial complete. Very, very cool. So the next step in the Unity Essentials is to master 3D scene navigation, which should be pretty interesting. And we're still, you know, a little bit of ways away, but we have already completed 3 tutorials so far, so we're doing all right. I think that this is the perfect opportunity to, you know, take a little bit of a break because I have to tinkle. So please use this as an opportunity to tinkle as well if you need to, or grab a snack, grab something to drink, take your meds if you haven't, or even just get up and move around. You know, prevent blood clots, because I want to see y'all here for a very long time. That being said, I will see y'all very, very shortly. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I'm having a blast so far. I know this seems like a lot of like basic silly stuff, but like, no, for real, I'm having so much fun actually. This is so freaking cool. So thank you all very, very much for being here with me, and we will be back momentarily. Hope you enjoy the lo-fi. Hello. It is I, and we are back. Okay, so on to the next set of whatevers. Let's see. Okay, cool. So that got done installing. What about Unity Hub? Yeah, looks like it's done with everything. Cool. That out for now. Okay, next up in Unity Essentials. So summary is complete a scavenger hunt through the playground to learn the basics of navigation. So number 1, overview. Navigating 3D space in the scene view is an absolutely critical skill for working in Unity. Trying to create something in Unity without first mastering this skill would be like trying to learn how to draw without first learning how to hold a pencil. If you've never worked with other 3D creator tools before, or played many 3D games, working in a 3D environment can be pretty challenging at first. But don't worry, you'll get some practice here to set you up for success. In this tutorial, you'll get comfortable moving around in the scene view through a short series of fun challenges and a playground scene. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the music and play this video, just in case, because it doesn't have us do anything. Oh yeah, so it's just gonna have us just navigate around in it. Okay. So 2, open the playground scene. We gotta navigate in the project window to the 1 playground navigation scene. Go ahead and do that. Okay, here we go, and we can pan around a little bit. Cool. Done. Frame the 4 playground areas. Remember, the hierarchy window represents the structure of the current scene in a tree-like format. It shows you every game object in your scene. When you double-click a game object in the hierarchy window, you can quickly zoom in on it and frame it nicely in the scene view. So instructions, in the hierarchy window, locate the playground area's game object. Okay. That is this. Expand it using the fold out, which is a triangle, and double-click all 4 of the game objects to quickly frame them in the scene view. Okay. Expand it, and then we can go to the swing set, to the picnic area, to the play structure, or to the fire pit. After framing each individual object, double-click the playground area's game object. This will neatly frame all 4 into view. Okay. Use fly-through mode in the scene view. In the previous tutorial, you used the arrow keys to move around in the scene view and use the right mouse button to look around. Now you'll learn how to use fly-through mode, which lets you move and rotate your view at the same time. Rather than use the arrow keys, you'll use the WASD keys, W-A-S-D, on the keyboard. You'll notice that the WASD keys are in a similar layout to the 4 arrow keys with the following mappings. W for forward, S for back, A for left, and D for right. Like you're playing a video game. This type of navigation might be familiar to you if you've played desktop video games before. Instructions. In the scene view, press the right mouse button and move the mouse to look around. While still holding down the right mouse button, press the W key on your keyboard to move forward. Okay, so we'll do this and then... Yeah, okay, cool. How we kind of... Yeah, oh, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Cool. And then yeah, basically the next is just use a combination of the right mouse button and the WASD keys to fly around to different areas of the scene. So let's just let's just literally fly to each one. So the first one is the swing set. Here we are. This is the swing set. The next one is the picnic area, which is this one right here. And the next is the play structure. Very cool. And then the last one is the fire pit. Very nice. Open the keyboard shortcut reference sheet. Kind of looks like creator mode for Minecraft. Yeah, actually, exactly. The Unity editor has a lot of keyboard shortcuts. While you're learning to use them, we have provided a helpful cheat sheet that you can reference. So this is in the Unity Essentials thing. Very cool. So press F in the scene view. So if we like, okay, so yeah, if we click the play structure, maybe? And then we hit F on it. Yeah, that frames it. Okay. Okay, so that, yeah, the QWERTY keys change the tool that we're currently using over here in this left area. So Q for the pan, or the view, W for move, E for rotate, R for scale, T for rectangle tool, Y for transform tool. Very cool. All right. Completed that. At this point in time, please feel free to pause it here and read these instructions and just kind of explore using the tools, get familiar with navigating around if you need. And then, once you feel like you've kind of gotten the hang of moving around and you've gotten the hang of the shortcuts and stuff, please feel free to come back and we'll keep going. So, number 6, enter play mode and enter an incorrect code. Now that you have a basic understanding of how to navigate in the scene view, you're ready to start the scene view scavenger hunt. The purpose of this scavenger hunt is to find 4 hidden numbers that combine to form a 4-digit secret code. If you enter the correct code in play mode, you'll be rewarded with some fireworks. Important, don't try to find the hidden numbers yet. You'll be given clues on how to find them in the coming steps. For now, you'll just see what happens when you enter an incorrect code. So the first step is to press play to enter play mode and locate the text entry box in the center of the game view that says or enter 4-digit code. Okay, let's go ahead and press play then. Remember, when you're in play mode, you'll no longer be able to fly around the environment like you do in the scene view. Enter any 4-digit number in the input box to see what happens. We're just gonna enter like 9812. No. Remember to exit play mode. Okay. In the next step, you'll start looking for the numbers that make up the correct code. Enter fly-through mode to find the number on the swing set. In the next step, you'll practice using fly-through mode to zoom in and find a hidden number on the back of the swing set. In the video demo above, the number appears as a red square, but it will be a real number in your scene. Remember, you can always reorient yourself by double-clicking on a game object in the hierarchy window. Instructions. 1. Activate fly-through mode in the scene view by holding the right mouse button and using the WASD key to navigate. 2. Locate the hidden number on the back of the top bar of the swing set. You might want to write the hidden numbers down so you don't forget them. Well, if we forget them, it's just more practice. So, the first number is 2. Frame and zoom to find the second number. Oops, what the fuck? Sorry. The second number inside the grill. Yeah, framing an object centers it in the scene view and allows for closer inspection. You have already framed objects when you double-click them in the hierarchy view. Now you're going to learn a new, more convenient way to frame an object by pressing the F key on your keyboard while in the scene view. After framing an object, you can then scroll the wheel on a mouse or 2 fingers on a trackpad to zoom in and out on that framed object. Now, you'll use these techniques. I'm pretty sure the song is called Aether, by the way, also a new song. This is actually the song I have that's in 7.4, which is I just had a blast making. Anyway, after framing an object, you can then use the scroll wheel on a mouse. Oh, we already did that. Now you'll use these techniques together to discover the second number hidden inside the grill. In the video demo above, the number appears as a red square, but it will be a real number in your scene. Yes, I knew I recognized this. Thank you again for listening to it. I appreciate that so much, and it feels so cool to know that you did in fact recognize it. Okay, so let's go ahead, and in the playground areas, the next one is going to be the picnic area. We'll press F on it, and we can zoom in here, like so. And it wants us to do that inside the grill. This is 0. Okay, so 2 0. Instructions. Oh, we already did that. Yeah, we already got that. Here's the instructions for anybody who needs it in case you're, doing it along, with us. Please feel free to pause, and then once you have found it, oh, I just realized if you're following along, you'll end up having the number. Ah, damn. Yeah, my bad. Sorry for that. You should still try to find it on your own anyway, so you can learn how this works. But, yeah, feel free to pause and then come back when you're ready to move on. So, step 9, orbit around the play structure to find the third number. Orbiting is an essential navigation technique that lets you rotate your view around a selected object, providing a 360-degree perspective. Orbiting is different from using the view tool to look around in the scene, which you did before by right-clicking and dragging. Using the view tool and looking around is like moving your own head. The position stays in place, but the rotation changes. Orbiting is like moving around an object while you stare at it. Your focal point stays the same, but your position changes. In this step, you'll orbit around the play structure and inspect it from underneath to uncover the third hidden number. If you are still inside the grill, zoom out and then rotate your view to face the play structure. Slide. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Again, if you need a moment, please feel free to pause this here and then come back when you're ready to join along, or you can do it with me step by step. With the move tool still selected, click directly on the play structure in the scene to select it and then frame it with F, okay? Once the play structure is framed, hold Alt and then left click and drag with your mouse to orbit the play structure. You'll find the third hidden number on the bottom. Yep, and that number is 0. After you've noted the number, orbit back up around to get a front-facing view of the play structure again. Okay. After you've noted the number, orbit back up. Oh, we already did that, my bad. Soon you'll get so much practice framing and orbiting, it'll eventually be muscle memory. You also have that shortcut cheat sheet to help you remember all the ways you can navigate. Cool. Use the scene view gizmos to reveal the final hidden number. Scene view gizmos. The scene view gizmos, again, feel free to pause and continue, if you need, or follow along. To be able to see the scene view gizmos. Oh, I'm skipping, I'm sorry. The scene view gizmos, which look like a series of colorful cones sticking out of a cube in the upper right corner of the scene view. Okay. Are another helpful tool for 3D navigation. It means these right here. The green, the red, and the blue and stuff. You will use the gizmos in something called isometric mode to uncover the fourth and final digit of your code. In the video demo, the digit looks like 3 red cubes, but in your scene, it will appear as a real number. Instructions. To be able to see the scene view gizmo more clearly against the background, right-click them and select Show Background. Cool. In the scene view, click directly on the fire pit set between 2 outdoor chairs and press F to frame it in view. You might notice some strange black lines beneath the fire pit. Okay. Excuse me. Oh yeah, there are those strange lines. When the fire pit framed, use the cone-shaped gizmos to view it directly from the side. Oh, I see. Right-click the gizmo again and disable perspective to enter isometric view. Ah, that's interesting. Okay. Depending on your orientation, the label beneath the gizmos will say front, back, left, right, top, or bottom. You'll know that you're in isometric view when the 3 lines to the left of the label are parallel to one another. If you don't immediately see the 4th hidden digit, continue rotating around the fire pit with the help of the gizmos to reveal it. You are able to see the number clearly in isometric view because all of the 3D perspective is removed. There is no longer any distortion of objects based on your angle, and all objects appear the same size, regardless of how far they are from you. You're looking at a 2D version of a 3D scene. Once you figure out the final digit, right-click the gizmos and re-enable perspective to enter perspective mode again. Cool. Enter the correct code in play mode. Congratulations! If you've made it here, you found all 4 hidden numbers. It's now time to verify whether they are correct. Fun fact, the correct code is actually the year Unity was created. Very cool. So the first number we found was a 2. The second number we found was a 0. The third number that we found was a 0. And the last number that we found was a 4. This means that the correct code should be 2004. Instructions: press the play button to enter play mode and enter your code in the input box. 2, if you entered the correct code, you should be treated to a fireworks display at the center of the screen, and you now know the year Unity was created, and then exit play mode. Okay. Two 2004. Wahoo! Cool. Review and proceed to the next tutorial. Awesome, we did this one too. Congratulations on successfully navigating the scene view and completing the scavenger hunt. Here are some of the things you learned how to do along the way. Dang, a whopping 11 years ago. What the fuck you mean? You mean 21 years ago? Yeah, 21 years ago. Jesus Christ, my back hurts. Frame a game object in the scene view using the F shortcut. Maneuver 3D space using fly-through mode. Zoom in and out of the scene view with the scroll wheel. Orbit around framed objects in the scene view with the mouse and keyboard. Switch between perspective and isometric mode to change your view of a scene. Proceed to the next tutorial to fly through rings around the playground and solidify your scene view navigation. Very cool. Next, we are passing the scene view flying test. If you need to take a break at this time, please, and if you're watching this on YouTube, now's a good time to pause to go do that, and then we can come back to this. But for us over here on Twitch and YouTube now, currently live, we're gonna keep going because it's only been like 20 minutes. I'm gonna sippy though. Oof, my back. Lol. Also, I said 21, but it changed. Oof. I'm sorry. Okay, summary. Fly through rings around the playground and solidify your scene view navigation skills. 1. Overview. There's no such thing as being too comfortable moving around in the scene view. The more comfortable you are maneuvering in 3D space, the more confident and carefree you'll be when working in Unity. Learning to navigate 3D space is a lot like learning to drive a car. At first, it's very overwhelming and scary. It takes hours and hours of practice before you feel comfortable. Eventually, you'll be able to do it easily without thinking too much. And I think one thing that is important one thing that I want to say, at least, it's very important, is there are some people who are literally born fucking drivers. They're just doing it. They get in a car, they have an automatic maybe, and they're just doing it and it feels like it's natural to them. And it's hard for you. and it feels, you know, it feels hella bad. Or someone has, you know, they have good parents. They get taught how to drive early. They don't have as hard of a time as you. And maybe you even have to get your license late in life because you didn't have anyone to help you out. You couldn't do it by yourself, you know, because like age and stuff. However, you still did it. You still did it. You still got to the same destination, even if it may have taken longer, even if it may have been harder. So that is one thing that I wanted to add to this, like reading this, is like, yeah, it's a lot like learning. You may not be as fast as other people. You may not be as good as other people, but like, you'll get there. We will get there, okay? So, that being said, in this tutorial, you'll fly through a series of rings around the playground to get even more comfortable moving around the environment. Cool. Number 2, move to the start of the rings course. Before you begin going through the rings, let's activate the flying course and get in position at the starting line. Does that select the rings object? So we are still in the same scene, it looks like. In the hierarchy window, select the rings object, okay? Notice that's grayed out. This is because it's currently inactive. With the rings game object still selected, look at the top of the inspector and locate the checkbox next to the title rings, then enable the checkbox to activate the game object. Okay, that's right here in the inspector window, right next to rings. And now we got some a bunch of these little rings that popped up. Very cool. In the hierarchy window, expand the rings game object and frame ring 1 by double-clicking it in the hierarchy window. I used the F key because I used shortcuts. You can tell this is the first ring in the course because it has a red hoop. Awesome. Hold Alt and left-click to orbit. So yeah, orbit behind the ring so that you're facing the next ring. And the arrow is pointing away from you. Just like that. Cool. Step 3, frame, orbit, zoom through the rings course. First, you'll go through the rings by using the trusty technique that will serve you well through your Unity career, frame, orbit, zoom. This technique allows you to quickly focus on any game object from any angle you want. Step 1, zoom through the center of the ring using the scroll wheel or trackpad. You need to zoom all the way through in order to select the next ring course. Once you are through the next ring, continue through the obstacle course. Okay, so first, you need to zoom all the way through the ring. Now we can click that. Yep. Press F to frame it. Then we orbit to the next one. And we repeat. Okay, so let's do that. Frame it, orbit. We'll zoom our way through. The only thing I will say is that the middle wheel to scroll through it, it doesn't like it seems to work less the more I zoom through. Kind of sucks. Oops. Now we're back at ring 1. Now you'll test your fly-through mode skills to go through the course again. You can actually get anywhere you want in a scene using fly-through mode. With more practice, you'll eventually settle into your own 3D navigation style. likely using a combination of fly-through mode and frame orbit zoom. So once you've frame orbit zoomed your way through the course, try to complete it again using fly-through mode, okay? In fly-through mode, you can press Q to go straight down and E to go up, but you should probably master using the WASD keys first before trying to integrate those keys. For an added challenge, set a timer to see how long the course takes. Try to beat your record a couple times. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Oops. Oops, shit. Oh, shit. Ah, shit, here we go again. Cool. Yeah. 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 Okay. Fuck yeah. Very cool. Right on. Lil got all cocky and was like immediately like, ah, shit. Got all cocky. Yeah. Yeah, I do be like that sometimes. That's cool as hell. Very nice. So once you finish going through the rings, deactivate the rings. So we go to the hierarchy window, select the rings object, and then, yeah, just disable the same way. So we go to the rings object here, we select all of them, we go up here to the inspector, top right, next to rings, and we just deactivate them. Now we proceed to the next tutorial. That was nice, that was quick. Congratulations on successfully completing the scene view flying test. You have set yourself up for success moving forward and will be able to create what you want much more effectively now. Instructions. Proceed to the next tutorial where you'll learn to move and rotate objects in the scene view to create a mural at the center of the playground. Cool. And so for anybody who may be watching this in the future, again, it is important. I feel like it's important for me to say, you may have just watched me zoom through it. However, please remember that this is not my first time using Unity, and I also have a pretty decent understanding of three-dimensional space because I play a lot of 3D video games. If you are struggling, please practice it until it feels right. Go through and do the frame orbit zoom a couple more times, you know? Do the fly through a couple more times. Actually try to practice getting in that Q and E key so that you can actually learn to, you know, become a really effective navigator of the scene before you jump through the next tutorial, and we take that on. So if you need some time to do that, please take this opportunity to go and pause and do that. But remember, not doing shortcuts now will save you in the future. And I won't preach about that anymore. Okay, let's go ahead and go. So next up is designing a mural in the scene view. Very cool. Summary, use the move and rotate tools in the scene view to create a custom mural at the center of the playground. Skills is transforming game objects. Number 1, overview. You're now much more comfortable navigating in the scene view and maneuvering through 3D space. The next critical skill to acquire in Unity is the ability to move and position objects within this space. In this tutorial, you'll utilize the move and rotate tools to craft a mural of your own design using the colorful pieces of a classic Tangram puzzle. It says classic Tangram puzzle, but I have no idea what that is. Wikipedia says it's a dissection puzzle consisting of 7 flat polygons, called tans, which are put together to form shapes. The objective is to replicate a pattern given only an outline, generally found in a puzzle book, using all 7 pieces without overlap. Cool, and then it also says alternatively they're used to create original minimalist designs that are either appreciated for their inherent aesthetic merits or as the basis for challenging others to replicate its outline. Okay, cool. Make all the shapes fit into this, all the shapes fit in the same shape? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right. 2, get a top view of the mural. First, you'll want to get an optimal vantage point to view and arrange your mural from directly above looking down. We have also provided you with a reference image of potential design options for your mural, which will be helpful to have in view as well. You can choose to follow along with the turtle mural in this example, select another possible design from the reference image, or design your own unique mural. Okay, so in the hierarchy, select the mural object and then basically set it as active. Go ahead and do that. I want a top perspective. Set it as active. Very cool. Turtle, house, cat, sailboat, horse, helicopter. Okay, neat. Double click to frame both the puzzle pieces. We already done that, and then use the scene to get an optimal top-down view. We've already done that. Great. Select the move tool with global coordinates. The move tool allows you to drag objects around the environment using the 3-directional axis arrows. The red x-axis, the green y-axis, or the blue z-axis. The move tool also gives you the option to use either global or local coordinates. Global coordinates are kind of like north, south, east, and west, which are constant. Local coordinates are more like left and right, which change depending on the way that you're facing. Number 1, select the move tool, which is the second tool in the floating toolbar in your scene view. We can use that with the W key, or we can click on it here. At the top of the scene view, open the coordinate system selection drop-down menu and select local coordinates. So that's up here. We actually already are on local. You can change it like so. Observe that in this mode, depending on which puzzle you select, the 3 axis arrows change orientation, reflecting the individual object's orientation. Is that facts? Yeah, it is. Okay. Makes sense. And then select global coordinates to see the contrast. No matter which object you select, the axis arrows point in the same direction. In this case, it makes more sense to use global coordinates since you're moving all the objects directly to the right in the world space. Don't move any pieces yet, though you'll do that next. So yeah, we click on the puzzle. You notice how they're kind of pointing diagonally at this point versus the image. It's up and down. And then if we choose global, they're all pointing in the same direction. Move the first large piece. Your next task is to begin the actual assembly of your mural, starting with positioning the large red triangular puzzle piece. In the example, we'll use the turtle as a mural reference, but feel free to choose any design you like. We recommend starting with a large triangular piece because it provides a substantial base to build around. Don't worry about rotating the triangle yet. Place the piece centrally in the playground, setting the stage for the rest of your composition. Instructions. Number 1, ensure the move tool is still selected with global coordinates enabled. In this case, ours is. And again, that's a W hotkey for the move tool, or just click on it. And then right above that toolbar, underneath the scene and game tabs, you'll see global or local. You can click that, and you can change the orientation of those bars. 2, in the scene view, select the red triangular piece on the right. Okay. Best to select the tip of the axis arrow to minimize the chance of accidentally selecting one of the other arrows. Cool. Also, I do want to... I've got like a true perspective here. Click and drag the blue axis arrow to move it forward or backward along the blue axis, the Z axis. The rotation isn't important. Concentrate on positioning the piece at the center of the playground. So we want the red piece. We're gonna move it. See, what's weird is that it says the blue axis. I guess we got to do like a mixture. So good to me. Rotate the first piece. Now that your first puzzle is positioned, the next step is to rotate it to align correctly with your mural design. This involves using the rotate tool found just after the move tool in the toolbar. That means it has a hotkey of E. The rotate tool is characterized by 3 colored rings representing the axes around which you can rotate your object. When you hover over a ring, it becomes more pronounced, indicating that it's ready for use. For this particular task, since the object is lying flat on the ground, we'll be focusing on rotating around the global y-axis, which can be visualized as extending straight up from the ground. So first, we select the rotate tool to activate it. That is E as the hotkey, or it is this 2 arrows going into each other. Pause. Once you've selected the object, you should see 3 colored rings around it. So we select this, and yeah, we do. We have the blue, green, and this dulled red, or potentially even gray. To rotate the object around the y-axis, which corresponds to the green ring, select it and drag it in a straight line. Important, don't click and drag the ring in a circle as if you were turning a wheel. Instead, click and drag your mouse in one direction as if you were drawing a straight line with the cursor. Adjust the rotation until the piece aligns with your mural's design. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh yeah, straight line, that's right. Okay, so I want to do the cat. That means we need to rotate it downwards like this. Yeah, sorry about that. I zoned out. Experiment with rotating the other object around the other axis, then just undo your action with Control Z, or if you're on macOS, Command Z. Okay. So if we do the blue one, yeah, that rotates it the other direction. We can Control Z, and then this rotates it. Yeah, it rotates it like that, I guess. whatever that is. Interesting though, the yellow does that way. Huh. No, to me it... like it's the same, but... oh, wow, the green really oh no, that's if you okay. If you select, in between in this gray stuff, the highlights, you're rotating in any, like a mixture of all the directions. That's so interesting. So yeah, this is the red direction. Blue direction. Green direction. I don't know what this other one is, so. Yeah, we're done with that step anyway. Number 6 is to move the next piece with shortcuts. Up until now, you've been selecting the mouse and rotate tools from the toolbar, which is a lie. I knew it was coming. However, Unity offers a quicker way to switch between these tools using shortcuts on the top row of your keyboard. The shortcuts QWERTY allow you to swiftly flip through various tools with W for move and E for rotate. You're about to use these shortcuts to move and rotate your second puzzle piece. Mastering these shortcuts will greatly speed up your workflow, but if you're more comfortable selecting them manually, feel free to continue to do that. Instructions. First one, with your cursor in the scene view, press the first 6 keys in the top row of the keyboard. Notice how you cycle through the toolbar. Press W on your keyboard to switch to the Move tool. Select your next large triangular piece. Use the red and blue arrows of the Move tool to position the piece in its approximate position for your design. And then we'll use the Rotate tool after that. Okay, so the next one is the orange one. We'll want to use the Move tool. Want to slide it over here and then move it up like there. That's an approximate position. Once positioned, press E to switch to the Rotate tool. Click and drag the rotate piece as needed. Remember, don't drag your mouse in circles like a wheel. Click and drag in a straight line. It's E for the hotkey, and then we're gonna select this this green one here. Kind of do it like that. We're gonna switch back to the move tool. Get it nice and lined up, you know? Yeah, I like that. Cool. Move the next piece on a plane in isometric view. For the next piece, you'll optimize your workflow even more. First, you'll shift to isometric mode to eliminate perspective distortion, allowing you to focus solely on moving the objects along the horizontal and vertical planes. Then you'll use the technique of moving an object along 2 axes simultaneously. This will be much more efficient than the earlier method of moving an object along 1 axis at a time. The move tool active, select the next puzzle piece you want to move into your mural. Okay, so it's W. And we'll do the purple one. Right-click the scene view gizmo and choose to disable perspective. Okay. Cool. Right-click the scene view gizmo and choose. Oh, we already did that. Now we're in isometric mode. Notice that you can now only see the Z-axis, blue arrow pointing forward, and the X-axis, red pointing to the right. You can no longer see the global Y-axis arrow. With the move tool, locate and select the green square at the intersection of the Z and X axes. So that's this one, and we can just move it along like that. That is so cool. One thing that I want to do is I just kind of want to fix that a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I should come back to this VOD after stream for some of the earlier stuff. Absolutely, it's been really fascinating so far. Okay, so that's the next one. We did it with the isometric mode. We've rotated it. We've completed that. So now we just need to finish it up. So let's go ahead with the, actually, can I select? I can select multiple at a time and I can move it down. Cool. Go ahead and pick this blue piece here. Rotate it like this. Yeah, there we go. And we'll take this green piece here. Take the pink piece, yellow piece. It's gonna look like that. And oh, also Nick, I'm so sorry. How are you? Thank you so much for dropping by. How have you been today? Well, that. But like so. And there's our mural, gang. What do y'all think? Isn't this one of the OG lo-fi songs? I think it is, yes. It's yeah, it's a moment from the first volume. There's our cat. Meow. Okay, mark is complete. Great. Hide the reference image. If you've been using the reference image during your work, it's time to hide it to fully appreciate the mural and all its glory. At this point, you can switch back to perspective mode to appreciate your mural within the context of the... Okay, well, let's go ahead and hide the reference. Very cool. So we already did that. All right, and we can orbit to see it from a more natural perspective. We'll frame the mural. We'll do that. Yeah, very neat. Hell yeah. Save your scene. We can do that. Control S for the hotkey, or you can go up to File, Save. Or it's Command S if you're on Mac. View and proceed to the next tutorial. Congratulations on completing the mural in the playground. Here are some of the things you learned how to do along the way. 1. Explain the difference between global and local coordinate space in the scene view. And for just a quick recap on that, because that in particular was a little bit more confusing, I think. Global means that when you click on an object, no matter the rotation that it's in, everything points in the same direction in terms of, your perspective on moving things. You switch to a local. You see how now this is rotated. This is pointing diagonally. The green is pointing to the top left. What the fuck was that? Oh, that was confetti. Sorry. Now the green is pointing directly leftward. So yeah. I'm all right. Bought a couple of things at a yard sale on Saturday, including an old tablet, but need help from the seller to unlock it. Thankfully, I reached him via text. Also, we'll get around to posting the film photos I took a couple months ago. Yes, please do. Please do. But that's so exciting. Very, very cool. I hope that they're able to get back to you quick, and then that way you can, you can have fun with your new tablet. That's neat. The next thing we learned, switch between global and local coordinates when positioning a game object. Move objects around with the Move tool. Rotate with the Rotate tool. Switch between the tools using the QWERTY keyboard shortcuts. And then move objects along 1 or 2 axes at a time with the Move tool. Again, just for a quick overview on that, for moving things around, we were in perspective mode. From a top-down perspective. We were in isometric mode. And so then when we grab this, because here's the red or the blue axis, and then the red one, and we grab the green square in the middle, and that lets us move it around. If we are not in in isometric mode, we're in perspective mode, that adds in the other one here, and we can kind of, this could be a little advanced, but depending on which square we click on, like this was clicking on the red square, clicking on the green square, we can move things in the different perspectives. So. They've responded but need a little more troubleshooting. Also, it's an old tablet, as in the code needed to unlock is one of those dot patterns. Damn, that's hella cool though. I remember when that was like the vibe, Not none of this fingerprint, Face ID type stuff, or even like the iris type stuff. So yeah, we did it. That's that tutorial. The next thing actually looks like the last tutorial in the first mission, which is really fucking cool. It means we've come a long way. So the next tutorial is more things to try. Further and develop your project and skills with optional challenges of varying difficulty. Step 1, the overview. Try these optional activities to challenge yourself, build your skills, and improve your project. Each challenge is tagged as easy, medium, or expert difficulty so that you know what to expect. You can do one of them, all of them, or none of them. It's totally up to you. Easy mode. Complete the rings fly through using Q and E, up and down. Medium is make another mural. Expert is put together the tube slide. If you're not interested in doing these challenges, skip to the end of this tutorial to mark it. Let's go ahead and do them. So the second step is easy. Complete the rings. Use fly through using Q and E. I wonder if modern phones still have the pattern codes. They might, honestly. I mean, I feel like the pattern was a pretty decent way of security. In addition to the main WASD keys for flying in fly-through mode, you can also use the Q and E keys to fly straight up and down. Using Q and E can really help in certain 3D navigation predicaments. Once you're comfortable using the WASD keys, try to incorporate Q and E into your fly-through mode navigation. This optional challenge is classified as easy difficulty. Basically, in order to get started, we have to reactivate the rings. We have to frame it around the first one, the red one, and then complete the course and incorporate the Q and E keys. So the way we need to do that is we just need to come in here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to activate it. Go to ring number 1, and we're going to frame it again. Then we can hold Alt to orbit so that we're in place. And then we can hold the right mouse button, and then we can just kind of like fly through it. I almost said flame through it for some reason. Cool. I wouldn't be shocked. It does also seem like a good security method. Yeah, that's what I think. I never had somebody break into my phone with it, at least. Medium. Make another mural. You know, easy enough. Let's go ahead and we'll go into isometric mode. We'll go from the top down. We'll bring back the reference image. And what do y'all think we should make? We did a cat. We could do a turtle, house, sailboat, horse, helicopter. Any of y'all have any say in this, or no? We just did a cat. I like the enthusiasm, but we just did the cat. Or a turtle. Okay. Yeah, we can do the turtle. I just want to go ahead and move all these off to the side here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do turtle. Sorry, I was fixing something. I had my phone down. That is totally okay. So for the turtle, we'll go ahead and move it here, and then we gotta rotate it so that it's down. I'm gonna take the red one. I'm gonna just rotate it now. Bit so that it's this one. I'm gonna take the magenta square. Rotate it. So the middle here. This one. Get it the opposite direction. There. That'll like straight up right here. One will be on the side. That's what the fuck was I doing? Oh. There we go. There's the turtle. Hide the reference image again. Oops, that was the whole fucking ground. Okay. And the last one is put together the tube slide. These are cute. They are very cute. You may have noticed an inactive game object in the hierarchy window named tube slide. Unfortunately, this tube slide is broken into 3 pieces and needs to be assembled. That's your job. The optional challenge is classified as expert difficulty. Okay. In the hierarchy window, select the tube slide game object and enable the checkbox at the top of the inspector window to activate it. The tube slide is like 3D puzzle? Yeah. Go ahead and do that. Frame it. Perspective. Orbit like that. Oh, I see. Use the tips below to assemble the tube slide so that a kid could go down the slide successfully. Use the local instead of global coordinates. With local coordinates, you'll be able to tell when the piece of the tube is oriented upright, since its local green axis will be pointing straight up. That's smart. Use the legs as a guide for how high to position. The legs should just be sitting on the ground. After you have completed the assembly, use the parent tube slide game object to move the entire slide to a position. Okay. Very cool. Global. Local. Can we just do a 0 rotation? Can we just 0 it out? Yes. Same thing for the y-axis. We can literally just 0 it out. And we just have to carefully align. Hey. This one needs a little bit of work, but like... Oh man, but yeah, trying to get up in there to like, you know, get a good visual is definitely tough. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's see if we can go in it and down it, and yeah, I think that's close enough, honestly. That's pretty fucking great. Fuck. Whee! Cool, whatever. I'm calling that good. We did it. Good job. Okay, now we're on the Mission 1 quiz. Let's see if we get this right. If you are following this in the future, please use this as an opportunity to pause before each... If you're doing it yourself, pause now. Fill out the quiz yourself. We can see what we get afterwards. If you are using this video as a way to test your own knowledge, then I will let y'all have a moment before I answer each question to have your own answer. So, question 1. Which of the following statements are true about the Unity editor windows? Select all correct answers. The scene view is where you can visually navigate and edit your scene in a 3D space. The inspector window provides detailed information about the selected game object and allows you to edit its properties. The hierarchy the hierarchy window shows the structure of the scene, including all game objects and their parent-child relationships. The project window displays a list of files and assets available to use in your Unity project. Please pause now if you need. Let's see. The scene view is where you can visually navigate and edit. Yeah. Inspector window provides utility. Yep, it is the inspector. As is self-explanatory. Hierarchy shows the structure of a scene. That's true. And the project window does display a list of files and assets available. So, cool. Question 2. Please pause if you need. What is the game view window? Select only one. A window used for writing and debugging scripts in Unity. That's not true. A window that shows a list of all the assets and files in your Unity project. A window that displays the game as it will appear to the player, allowing for real-time testing and gameplay preview. A window that shows the organizational structure of of all game objects in the current scene. It is the second one. Question 3. Which of the following are true about how to navigate in Unity scene view? Select the 3 correct answers. You can press the F key to center or frame the selected object in the scene view. You can orbit around an object by pressing Alt or Option on Mac and clicking and dragging the left mouse button. You can use the right mouse button and WASD keys to enable the fly-through mode for easy navigation. You can press the Shift key to orbit around to the opposite side of an object. Pause if you need. Yeah, you can use the F key. You can orbit around an object by pressing Alt, clicking and dragging the left mouse button. That is very true. You can use the right mouse button and the WASD keys to enable the fly-through mode for easy navigation. True. Question 4. What happens when you use the scene view gizmo to disable perspective and enter isometric mode? Select the 1 correct answer. The scene view switches to a non-perspective projection where all objects are rendered at their actual size regardless of their distance from the camera. All of the objects are locked and no longer selectable. It activates a grid overlay on all objects in the scene, helping with alignment and proportion measurements. Objects in the scene view will turn black and white, making it easier to focus on their shape and position. Pause if you need to. The answer is the scene view switches to a non-perspective projection. Question 5. Which of the following are true about the move and rotate tools in the scene view? Select the 2 correct answers. Pressing E switches to the rotate tool, which enables rotation of objects in 3D space. The move tool can only position objects along the global X axis, requiring manual adjustment for Y or Z axis movement. The rotate tool exclusively rotates objects in 90-degree increments. You need to manually type in values to the inspector window for more precise rotation. Pressing W activates the move tool, allowing you to position objects in the scene along any of the 3 axes individually or on 2 axes simultaneously. Please pause if you need. The answer is 1 and 4. Okay, submit the answers. 4 out of 5 correct. What did we miss? Oh, I just misclicked on it. Damn. Oh well. I got 5 out of 5. I don't care. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna retake the quiz. Yeah, and then all of these are true. The real-time testing. You can orbit and press the F key and WASD. Scene view is non-perspective projection. And then E and W for the hotkeys. Yay! Okay. Damn, that is so cool. We finished up the first mission. Very cool. So now we undergo our next mission. So we're 1 mission down, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to go. Very freaking cool. Awesome flying through it, right? I think before we tackle the next mission, I think we're gonna take a small break. It seems like a good time, so please use this as an opportunity to Grab a snack, something to drink, use the restroom, take your meds if you haven't, or even just get up and move around a little bit to help prevent blood clots, because I want to see you here for a very long time. Very important. So I will see you back very, very shortly. Hello. It is I, and we are back. So we are onward to 3D. Excuse me, 3D Essentials. 2 hours and 10 minutes. How long was Editor Essentials? Also 2 hours and 10 minutes. Okay. 3. Hey Darcy and she are here, and here we go. Indeed. What you will learn. In this tutorial series, you'll explore Unity's capabilities by designing a kid's bedroom scene with dynamic elements like a bouncing ball and a tower of blocks. You'll learn new skills in 3D navigation, object customization, and Unity's physics system. You'll also create prefabs, adjust lighting, and capture your scene with a camera. This foundational knowledge is vital to creating any type of Unity project. Wow. Skills you will learn: scene building essentials like create game objects, transform game objects, control the appearance of them, and employ basic physics for them. As for game objects themselves, we'll learn to work with game object components and manage game objects with prefabs. And for beginner Unity cameras, we'll be able to configure a Unity camera for a scene. Very cool. Sent some film photos in the Discord server. Awesome. Thank you so much. I will take a look at it probably as soon as the stream is over, because I don't have Discord installed on this computer. So the first thing is to add furniture to the kids' room. Actually, what do we got going on here? Well, we got far less tutorials in this, so maybe it'll go a little faster. Excuse me, chat. Open the bedroom scene and furnish it with various items. Personalize the space. Skills. We are creating and transforming game objects. Cool. So, step 1, mission overview. In this tutorial series, you'll explore Unity's capabilities by designing a kid's bedroom scene with dynamic elements like a bouncing ball and a tower of blocks. You'll learn new skills in 3D navigation, object customization, and using Unity's physics system. You'll also create prefabs, adjust lighting, and capture your scene with a camera. This foundational knowledge is vital to creating any type of Unity project. Let's go ahead and watch the video. That neat ass intro sound.
In 3D Essentials, you'll dive into 3D creation in Unity. With Unity, you can create vast, fantastical 3D environments, precise hyper-realistic simulations, and anything in between. In these tutorials, your goal is to design a kid's bedroom, complete with a bouncing ball that knocks over a tower of blocks. First, you'll add 3D objects to customize your scene, solidifying your 3D navigation and object positioning skills. Then, you'll create a bouncing ball. It'll start as a simple primitive gray sphere, but you'll learn how to create new materials and give it some color. Then you'll bring that ball to life in Unity's physics engine. You'll learn about prefabs when you create a tower of building blocks, which can be easily reused in your scene. Finally, you'll get the background and lighting just right, then use camera techniques to capture the perfect shot of the action. By the end, you'll have a solid foundation in 3D creation, which is critical for creating any project in Unity. Now, let's bring this room to life in Unity.
Very fucking cool. Looks like we got some neat stuff coming up. Done with my inventory counts. It's been lovely listening to this journey through Unity. Thank you. I'm glad that you're done at least. Do you have anything else that's left, or was that it? And are you you headed home soon? And thank you so much for saying that about my voice. Okay, step 2, tutorial overview. In this first tutorial, you'll fill an empty room with furniture, designing it the way that you want. Cool. So first is to open the 3D scene. Begin, you'll open the empty 3D scene where you'll design a kid's room from scratch. Start, the scene will only contain the ground and sky. It'll be up to you to add everything else. Wow. I agree, 1010 voice. Yeah, you have to say that legally. Now on my way home, gotta be back at 9 a.m. Oof, I am so sorry to hear that. That is tough. I hope that at least tomorrow treats you all right. So the instructions are in the project window, navigate to basically the scenes and get number 2 loaded, the kids' room. Okay. By the way, Neko, we had talked about how you had mentioned that you said the one thing is you'd need a cheat sheet for the shorts cut. This is what I was saying, that it's included in this project. And it tells you, you know, the different tools and how to undo shortcuts and stuff like that. So, or how to undo and save rather. So that's where that. Go ahead and load number 2 and save what we did in the last scene. No, I don't. I truly believe it. You know that. Do I? Who are you? Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Okay, so this is cube. Great. And a blue sky. Oops. A blue. Drag the bedroom prefab into the scene. Now you'll add the main structure of the bedroom using a prefab. Prefabs are prefabricated assets that you can reuse across your project. In this project, we've provided you with a whole bunch of prefabs that are ready to use as you design this world, including a prefab of the actual room with the walls, floor, and windows. In the project window, go to Unity Essentials, Prefabs, and okay. Unity Essentials, Prefabs, and Rooms. Click and drag the O1 bedroom prefab onto the center of the ground in the scene. If you accidentally double click the bedroom, you'll see a close-up preview, or you'll see a close-up of the prefab in the scene view. Just click on the small back arrow at the top of the hierarchy window to return. What happens if we do? Oh yeah, so it's just designing the prefab. Okay. Once the bedroom is in the scene, use your frame, orbit, zoom skills to get a good view of the empty room. Okay. Frame, orbit. Cool. Position the bedroom at the origin. For consistency and ease of design, you'll position the bedroom at the exact origin or center of the scene using the transform component. Every single object in your scene has a transform component, which allows you to control the object's position, rotation, and scale. The origin of a scene is position 0, 0, 0 on the X, Y, and Z axes. So we go to the hierarchy, select the bedroom. Over here in the inspector, on the position, we literally just zero it out. 0 for X, 0 is already set for Y, and then for Z it is. So it is a little, you know, goofy that it doesn't sit on the ground, but that's fine. Who am I? Who are you? You did what? To who? For how many cookies? All of the cookies. Then we'll save. Add a bed to the bedroom. Next, you'll add a bed against the left wall of the room. The bed will be a central piece of furniture around which other items will be arranged. There are many bed prefabs to choose from, so you'll want to browse the options using the preview window at the bottom of the inspector window, or you drag one into your scene. I'm going to browse the options using the preview window. What the fuck is the preview window? So what do we want? Prefabs in the bedroom. So okay, so here are the beds. This is the preview. That's cool. I see. So we can do a messy one. If we're gonna do a full one, not gonna have a headboard, and it's gonna be unmade. So drag it and then use the move and rotate tools to position it with its back against the left wall. Well, what do you consider the left wall? So you consider the left wall. Okay. Oh, that makes sense because it's, yeah. All right. We'll zero it out. We'll do the rotate. Do isometric from the top down. We'll frame it. Come in here and we'll just do like a clean 90 degree. Do the move tool and yeah, looks good to me. Oh, such a weirdo. My bad for taking away the music. Cool. Let's go ahead and save. Decorate with more furniture. Personalize your bedroom by adding some more furniture. Use your own design sense to arrange items like nightstands, dressers, and chests. So we go into the bedroom, drag furniture items, and then rotate them to our liking. Frame and orbit around newly placed objects to make sure they're actually located where you think they are. At a minimum, add a rug and one other piece of furniture. A rocking horse and basketball net might also be fun since it's the kids' room after all. No, it's not. It's my room, motherfucker. Leave one corner of the room empty so you have a place to put your block tower. Okay. So... the bed looks cozy, not gonna lie. Doesn't it, though? We're gonna do a gray doormat. So... we're gonna do a purple rug. So, whatever that does mean, we need to take the bed and move it away from the wall ever so slightly. And we need to like center the rug properly. Yeah, there we go. And what else do we got? We got a rocking horse, a nightstand. A nightstand going. This will need to be set to 180. There we go. Oh, but the nightstand is supposed to sit kind of... but that's not Gucci either. right, well, we don't necessarily need that. That's fine. Let's go ahead and do the nightstand. And rotate that 90, I think it was. Yep. We can set a alarm clock on here. Hit that hoe. Definitely gonna rock with the See, this is the type of thing I'd enjoy doing, setting up nice scenes and such, yeah. Level design, it sounds like. Is that what it's actually called? Level design? Yeah, more or less, I think. Then we can set up the then green. The curtain or green. Curtains rather, and then we can rocking horse. The other way. Okay. Yeah, I quite like that. Not bad. Yeah, quite like that. It's quite nice. All right, so let's go ahead and see what it wants us to do next. Review and proceed to the next tutorial. Congratulations on completing the first steps of this room. You've successfully opened a 3D scene, added and positioned a bedroom prefab, and personalized space with furniture. Here are some of the things you learned how to do along the way. Add an instance of a prefab to a scene by dragging the prefab from the project window. Use the transform component to position a game object. Instructions. Proceed to the next tutorial where you'll make a ball bounce off a ramp toward the corner of the room. Very cool. In the realm of game designing, do you think that it is something that could actually be a job? Yeah, no, there are people that are literally dedicated to being like level design, level artists, or like, you know, stuff like that. Like, yeah, that is for some people, that is literally their whole job, is designing levels. Absolutely. So in this, we're going to make a ball bounce off a ramp toward the corner of the room. In this tutorial, you'll create a ball that bounces off a ramp and toward the corner of the room. Eventually, you'll build a block tower that the ball will crash into. First, you need to get that ball rolling. Yeah, there's multiple job types within game design, exactly. As you complete these steps, you'll learn how to create new 3D shapes, apply custom materials, and implement physics in your scene. When you're ready to get started, go to the next step. Not gonna lie, I'd be down for designing like this. Yeah, I mean, like there are games where it's like for a lot of Bethesda games, that is literally what makes the bulk of the charm of the game, is how many interiors and exteriors have to be designed. Where like literally the name of the game is like, you know, artists that are responsible for like, you know, designing like whole sections of a town, if not the whole town and stuff like that. So yeah, like, well, the whole town in smaller games, maybe like Morrowind or Oblivion, but like, yeah. So that is definitely feasible. Step 2, create and rename a sphere. The first step in creating a bouncing ball is adding a simple sphere in the scene. Unity provides you with a number of primitive shapes that you can add, including a sphere, a cube, a cylinder, a capsule, and even a flat plane. These simple shapes can be used as building blocks and as placeholders for more complex models. Here you'll create a sphere and rename it ball, which will later bounce off a ramp. So instructions, number 1, in the hierarchy window, right-click in an empty area and select 3D object sphere. So, 3D object sphere. Right-click, when you create the sphere, it may appear in a seemingly random location, which is actually based on the object you last framed in the scene view. You might not even see the sphere after creating it. Don't worry about its location for now, okay? Right-click on the sphere game object in the hierarchy window, select rename, and rename it ball, okay. Ball. Number 3, edit the sphere's scale. The ball is currently way too big. You need to make it smaller. Scale determines the size of an object. In Unity, scale is relative to real-world measurements, where 1 unit typically equals 1 meter. Adjusting the scale of the ball to 0.25 in all dimensions makes it about the size of a standard kid's ball, about 1/4 of a meter in diameter, which is just less than 1 foot wide. Make sure the ball game object is still selected, and then in the inspector window in the transform component, set the game object to set, you know, basically quarter it out across all of that in the scale. So 0.25, 5, 0. You can also select the chain link next to the scale properties to enable constrained proportions. When this is enabled, changing one scale property automatically changes the other two by the same amount. What is that? Oh, that's this one. So yeah, if we change it from... Okay, cool. Position the ball in the air. Okay, now you're going to position the ball high above the floor near the window so that it can fall to the ground and bounce toward the corner. Rather than using the transform tools in the scene view to drag the ball around, you'll enter the ball's precise position directly in the inspector window in the transform component. Every single game object in the scene has a transform component, which calls its position, rotation, and scale. The position values are measured in meters along each of the 3 axes, X, Y, and Z, relative to the origin of the scene. So with the ball object still selected, locate the transform component in the inspector window, set its transform position to 2, 3, and -1. 2, 3. Fuck is it? Okay, there it is. You can tell which direction is positive for each axis by looking at the scene view gizmo. The colored cones point toward positive direction for each axis. Cool. Now we'll create and apply a new material. The sphere primitive you added for the ball has a default material that is a very dull gray color. If it's a kid ball, it should be more exciting. Materials define the visual appearance of objects in Unity. Here you'll create a new material in your project's assets and apply it to the sphere. So in the project window, navigate to Unity Essentials and Materials. Right-click inside the Materials folder and create a new folder, name it My Materials. This is where you'll keep your custom materials. Inside the new My Materials folder, right-click and select Create Material, and then rename it to Ball Mat. Create Material Ball Mat. Ball _ mat, short for ball material. You've just created a new asset in the project window, which means that this material can be used in any scene in your entire project. You've added a new custom asset. You can see from the Create menu when you right-clicked that you can make all kinds of assets, including scripts, animations, fonts, and more. Drag the new ball mat material directly onto the ball game object in the scene view, which should make it turn the default plain white material color. So we'll click and drag right onto this ball here, and now it is in fact white. And remember to save often. Fair enough. I like that it kind of primes you for that. It's just like, yeah, we're just gonna keep telling you until you do it. Until it's natural. Adjust the material properties. At number 6. With your custom material now applied to the ball, you're ready to adjust the material's properties to your liking. You can customize the ball's color and how it interacts with light in the scene. Creating materials can get very complicated, so you'll start by adjusting just 3 key properties. Base map color, the basic color of the object. Metallic map, how metallic the object looks. Smoothness, how smooth the object looks. Make sure that the bat material is selected in the project window. Okay. In the inspector window in the surface inputs for the base map property, select the color swatch and use the color window to choose a new color. Wait, what was it? Surface input section. Okay, that's this one. The base map property, that's this one. Select the white color swatch and use color to choose a new color. Let's just do like a classic red. Observe how your changes affect the ball's appearance. Adjust the sliders for the metallic and smoothness to your liking. I don't really want any smoothness. Add a rigid body and test. Now that your ball looks ready for action, it's time to bring it to life by simulating physics. Give the ball physical properties, you'll add a rigid body component to it. Without a rigid body component, the ball will stay at its current location in midair. But with a rigid body component, it will have mass and respond to gravity. So basically, the first thing we're going to do in the instructions is select play to enter play mode and watch the ball float in midair and then stop. So we're just going to basically just observe it. Yeah, and there it is. Kind of chilling. Select the ball game object in the hierarchy or scene view. Select the Add Component button at the bottom of the inspector window and then enter rigid body in the search bar and then select it. Okay. So Add Component, rigid body, then add it. Enter play mode again and watch as it, responds to gravity and falls to the ground. Cool. Go ahead and do that. Very cool. No bouncing, but very cool. create and apply a physics material. Ooh, interesting. Your bouncy ball's bounce is probably pretty disappointing, yeah? It behaves more like a bag of sand than a lively bouncy ball. To make it bounce, you'll create and apply a physics material. Unlike standard materials, which control the visual aspects of game objects, physics materials govern the physical behavior of game objects, like how they bounce upon impact. Instructions. Right-click inside the My Materials folder and select Create Physics Material. Okay, we're already in there, so we'll just go ahead and do a physics material. I don't know what it's going to say, so I just named it that. Ball physics. Physics. In the inspector window, set the bounciness property of this physics material to 1 for maximum bounce effect. Drag and drop it onto the ball in the scene, and then we'll observe in play mode. Is it on there? Yep, ball physics. Oh, that's so cool. Very neat. Review the components. You have customized this ball a lot at this point. In this step, let's take a moment to review all of the components that contribute to the ball's behavior and appearance in Unity. So first, we got to select the ball game object window and then examine the inspector window. Locate the transform component. The transform component sets the position, rotation, and scale of the ball. This is the only component that is required for every game object. So it's this one at the top here. Locate the mesh filter component. The mesh filter component determines the shape of your game object. A mesh is a wireframe 3D model. In the case of the ball, the mesh is set to a sphere shape. That is right here. And we got that because that was basically it. Unity gave us that when we decided to make a sphere 3D object. Locate the mesh renderer component. The mesh renderer component controls the external appearance of the ball. Try to find the material you applied to the ball. When you apply a material, it shows up in this component. Here's the mesh renderer, and here's the materials. Element 0, ball material. Cool. Locate the sphere collider component. Sphere collider component defines the physical boundaries of game objects for collision purposes. Try to find the physics material you created and applied. Wait, what was it? Oh yeah, the physics material, right there. Locate the rigid body component. The rigid body component integrates the ball into Unity's physics system, giving it properties like mass and drag. And then here is the rigid body. Very cool. Got different properties here, like we can adjust the mass, the center of mass, whether it uses gravity, whether it's kinematic. Very cool. Now we add a ramp and test collision. In this step, you'll add a ramp that the ball can bounce off. The ramp has to be positioned precisely underneath the ball, which can be tricky if you're viewing the scene from an angle. You'll see how to use framing to help with this. So in the project window, navigate to prefabs and shapes. Okay. Prefabs and shapes. Drag the ramp prefab into your scene and place it on the floor approximately underneath the ball. And then for precise positioning, select the ball object and press F to frame it, then switch to the top view using the scene view gizmo. Then with the move tool, adjust the ramp's position so it's directly under the ball. So we'll select the ball, we'll frame it, we'll get a top-down view. Ramp. Then with the rotate tool, rotate the ramp so that the ball will bounce and roll to the back right corner of the room. Now press play. To test the interaction, notice the unexpected result. Hold on a minute. Oh yeah, it totally did. Just pass right through it. Notice the unexpected result where the ball passes through the ramp, then exit play mode. Before moving on, try to guess why the ball did what it did. Is there a type of component that could fix this? My guess is that it's gonna be physics based because it doesn't have a collider. That is my guess. Does the ramp need mass? Hey, you're basically on the right, fuck. Yeah, on the right path. Like I do bet that's what it's gonna have us do. Add a collider to the ramp. You'll now fix the ramp by adding a collider component, which is essential for physical interactions in Unity. A collider is a component that defines the shape of an object for the physical purpose of physical collisions and interactions within the environment. Without a collider, an object has no physical boundaries and other objects can go right through it, like a cloud. The sphere primitive you added earlier for the ball already came with a sphere collider. That's what the physics material is attached to. Unity provides various collider shapes, such as sphere, cube, and capsule colliders. However, since the ramp has an irregular shape, you'll use something called a mesh collider, which conforms to the unique shape of the object's mesh shape. So, step 1 is to select the ramp in your scene. Okay, that is currently what we have done. Actually, I wanna select these two. I just want to move them away from them. Yeah, there we go. That way they're not intersecting just because it's like weird. Okay, just select the ramp and then we add a mesh collider. Yep. And the mesh collider component enable the convex property. Enabling the convex property simplifies the collider into a convex shape, almost as if you were wrapping the object in some hard material. Unity needs mesh colliders to be set as convex to allow them to interact with other objects, okay? With the mesh collider added and set as convex, enter play mode to test the ball's interaction with the ramp. There we go. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, that's hella neat. I like that a lot. Uh, 12. Review and proceed to next tutorial. Congratulations on making a ball bounce around your room in an interesting way. Here are some of the things you learned how to do along the way. Add a 3D primitive to a scene, which was the sphere. Describe the default characteristics of a primitive, which was like the scale and stuff. Make a new material in the project window. Explain the attributes a material adds to a game object. Assign a material to a game object by dragging it from the project window into the scene view. Change the basic properties of a material. Add a component to a game object via the inspector window. Explain the attributes that a rigid body component adds to a game object. Make a new physics material in the project window. Explain the attributes a physics material adds to a game object. And identify specific components in the inspector window. Proceed to the next tutorial where you'll add a tower of blocks for the ball to knock over. Very, very cool. Nice, it's almost set up to be a thing where if you make a basket, it'll go down the ramp and hit the pins. Soon to come. Yep, exactly. Make a tower of prefab blocks. Okay, I think we're gonna have to call this it. It did hit the 3-hour mark not that long ago, about 4 minutes ago. And I still have to like work and all that dumb stuff. And I should probably shower. So, but this is fun. Yeah, this has been some really cool stuff so far. And I think what's neat is that like I actually feel like something's happening. You know, like I feel like, yeah, I feel like something is actually happening. I don't know how else to really describe that, but like it feels real, you know, like boogity boogity boogity. Sorry. The monster under the bed. But yeah, like my brain is already kind of like gearing up a little bit where I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, if I wanted it so that it you know, couldn't very easily like, you know, just roll through the carpet, add a collider to the carpet, add a collider to you know, to this, and so you know, it hits this and bounces off, which I think it actually already does. Yeah, it has a mesh collider, so same thing with the bed or this, where you could, you know, like, it's so freaking cool. Yeah. Neat. But I do think we are done for the night. It's really starting to come together and make sense how everything works and why. Absolutely. Oh, well, first, before we completely wrap it up, let's see what waits ahead of us. So we have making a tower of prefab blocks, adjust the lights, background, and camera angle, and then more things to try, and then the quiz. And then we go on to audio essentials, programming essentials, 2D essentials. Then last but not least, publishing essentials. Very cool. Yeah, that's neat that we're actually kind of through it almost already. Well, not almost, but you know, we've done a lot of progress. And this one I'm kind of curious. Let me see. The pathway here. Now, audio's 40 minutes. Programming is less than 2 hours. 2D Essentials is only 1 hour and 25 minutes. And this is about the same time as what it's taking now. Which, what I think is really fucking cool is that, what was it? This was, yeah, completion time says 2 weeks. Average of 4 to 5 hours a week. So yeah, so it's like 8 to 10 hours they estimate this to take, which is not much time at all, considering yesterday we did a 9-hour stream on just Cyberpunk. It's a lot from just starting at 0. Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's very cool. So if we end up if we can clear 2 of these a day, we can have this done in 3 days, actually. Then, so that's 2 weeks and 3 days. That's what, a quarter of the time. These are gonna take considerably longer, but that's fine. Oh, that's neat. That's really nice to know. I'm genuinely excited to get back to this too, because I feel it, like, the thing that I think that this tutorial does a really good job of is it's like, it does a good job at making me feel good about it. Where I'm like, you know, like I do things and like I feel like I feel like the reward hit in my brain. Where I'm like, I feel like I've genuinely learned how to do a new thing and that like I'm gonna be efficient with it and all that jazz. Well, yeah, but these are getting the building blocks together and teaching as you do. I'm not sure what the well, yeah, is too. But yeah. And then, so this is neat, and I'm very excited to see what we can do with it once we're done with it all. That's gonna be fun. So. It's a good dopamine teacher. Yeah, gotcha. Cool. So, thank you so very, very much. Whether you came and you chatted, you stayed and chatted, you came and you lurked, you came and you left, a little bit of everything or something in between, or a secret 4 thing that nobody knows about, which is a little bit concerning. Well, yeah, the other things are going to take longer, yeah. And I hope that you have a fantastic, not a morning like yesterday, a fantastic night, morning, midday, day, afternoon, evening, dawn, dusk, twilight, a fantastic breakfast, a fantastic lunch, a fantastic dinner, fantastic brunch, a fantastic 4th meal, or whatever floats your boat. Thank you all so very, very much, and good night. Goodbye.